Cozzy. I will be your hostess with the mostest today. And tonight I have got Jamie with me. How you doing, fella?
Alright, lad, how's it going?
Sam, mate, yeah, all good. First things first about the Reds. Bit of a game of football on Saturday evening, UK time. Playing Arsenal at home. I think in the last few years we give Arsenal a bit of a hiding. Managed to put a few goals past them. What do you think with this one, Jamie? The only two undefeated teams left in the league. Sorry, not undefeated. With their perfect records, I do apologise. Both teams have won both games. What do you think for the weekend?
Clash of the Titans already in game week 2. That's something new. I can't remember that happening last year. Even, I mean, well, it doesn't matter. It's another game, and this week for another first, we've had 6 days to train and rest. So that's got to feel good for the guys there on the training pitch there, getting some minutes in. But a real chance to prove our mettle again early on. So always good. It's good to test yourself early on.
Yeah, I think it's one of those games where we have done really well in the games in the past few seasons. I don't think anyone can deny. I think he's the attacking lineup like Aubameyang and Lacazette and Nicolas Pepe. But when I look at that defence, mate, I see a few weaknesses in there. I think last year it was 5-1. I think the season before that was it was another 4-5-1 again.
Yeah.
We've managed to do you think I can't see it being the same again. But with that defence, if Liverpool score early, you just never know. Never know.
Yeah, I mean, it's always got the potential for a high scoring game, this one. You take a look at the Arshavin 4-4. We've got a history of mental games. Obviously the demolition in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So it could go either way, but I think we've got the better squad. Like that's not up for conversation. But it's just a matter of if our defense can hold tight, and because they've got a decent front 4 or 5 or whatever they're going to be playing, So
yeah, I think it's one of them games. If they want to try and turn this into like a basketball game, I think there's going to be one winner, which is going to be Liverpool. I don't think that they can hold us out, though. In my opinion, I don't. As I just said, the front three are fantastic. I think we can all agree. We need to see a bit more Nicolas Pepe, but Lacazette and Aubameyang are really, really dangerous players. But when I look at the defence, mate, I just see weakness all over. I think Socrates is a good player. I think he's solid, but I think that's probably what he is. He's solid. I think he's one of them players that if he came to Liverpool, he'd be the 3rd or 4th choice centre-back.
He's a Lovren. Yeah, he's definitely a Lovren type player.
Yeah. He's just, he's a solid player. I don't rate the fullbacks at all. I think Bellerin's a big miss. I can't see anything but like a Liverpool comfortable win. I'm not saying we're going to dominate them. I'm not saying we're going to go out there and do a big number on Arsenal. But I just can't see anything but a Liverpool win, really.
Yeah, we've kept the wheels in motion miraculously in Istanbul and away to St. Mary's. So it's steamrolling now, and it'll be the 3rd week, and so let's just put the sword to them. Let's see what their defense is made of.
Exactly, that's what I think. I've just pulled the results up now from the last few games that we played. We're undefeated in 8 against them. We also put 5 past them last year. Then it was 4. Then it was 3, and then we had a 3-3 draw. I was at that game actually. Skirtle scored in the last minute. Came on with a bandage. I think Barini got sent off within like 10 minutes after coming on.
Where were you sitting?
I was sitting in the main stand. I got the tickets around Christmas time. Yeah, I went. It was fucking freezing. We were dreadful all game. Barini came off the bench, and literally he was the best player for 10 minutes. He just ran. He literally. Fair play to Barini. He was never good enough for Liverpool. My God, he didn't halfway hard.
Yeah, I did love his celebration too.
Oh yeah, the night thing. I think one of my favourite is he knew he was getting second yellowed, and before the red even came out, he was down the tunnel. He was just running off the pitch like, yeah, I'm done.
Fantastic. You gotta love the heart.
I'm all for it. But I look at the game as I think it could be one of those games with loads of goals if Liverpool score early, and those mental scars come back to the players of like, oh, we've been here before. We've been destroyed in 30 minutes a couple of times here. I think that is something that could play a part. Could I come on to you about the starting 11 for the game? I'd love to know what you're thinking kind of around the centre-half pairings.
Right.
Of course, Virgil's going to start, of course. But would you be going for Matip or Gomez in this game?
I can't fault anything other than Matip, really. I mean, if Gomez is going to come on, maybe late in the day for Trent, I see that. But Matip's in too much of well, he's on the ball pretty well. Like his passing was, well, it's been lackluster, but I think he's the better choice against the front three of Arsenal. Like,
yeah, I think it's a tough goal for Klopp, but I think the way Matip's been playing, I don't think he deserves to get dropped in any way, shape, or form. I understand that we all know Joe Gomez probably is the future partnership for Virgil long term, but the way Joel's playing, I think it'd be really, really harsh on him to get dropped. I'm going to go to starting 11s and then the team and things like that, and then I'm going to move on to where we think Arsenal are going to be, really. So we'll move on to, I think, the team picks itself with Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson, Virgil, Adrian in goal. Your midfield's a really interesting one because we're going to come on to the guy today who signed a new contract, Oxlade-Chamberlain. What do you think? Would you leave him in here? He played really well for all 75 minutes at Southampton. I thought he played well. Would you leave him in for such a big, high-intensity game? Or would you give him a rest out and then maybe go a bit more solid? What are you thinking?
I'd love to see him. Personally, I'd love to see him play a good 60 minutes against Arsenal. But you never know. It was only 2 weeks ago that Klopp said, "Oh, it was probably a mistake giving him 45 minutes," and he played out of his. Well, he didn't play out of his skin, but he played pretty well, pretty convincingly for a guy who's missed so much football. I know I was certainly expecting him, and I know we all were expecting him to kick on and just show us those driving runs and he's an ox. He's built like a bull. He's brilliant. I'm over the moon. He signed another new contract. I didn't know his contract was that low in the first place. But anyway, he's signed another 3 years, 4 years?
Yeah, I believe it's 2023. I think.
Yeah.
The expiry, but I think it's a great thing that what the manager's done there for the contract. Really, a man who's coming off a year injury. It proves that the manager still has faith in him. He knows he's fit, clearly. Because you wouldn't offer a brand new contract if he's still nursing the injury. But I think it's a massive leap of faith to go. So we're not falling out with you. You've been out for over a bit more than a year. I think it's about 17, 18 months. You've been out for that long, but we still believe in you. So here's an improved contract. I think he had about 18 months left to run on his current deal. I think it was a 4-year deal, the original. But right. I think it's a big leap of faith from Jurgen to back the kid and go, you know what? We still believe in you as long as you believe in us.
Yeah, and Naby Keita is a different kettle of fish. I'm sure we'll talk about him, but it's great that you've got a player like Ox in the team. Like I said, he's just a driving force in the team. You see the training clips. He's always happy. He's always smiling. He's always joking around and having a laugh. He must be a great. Like Danny Ings. Apparently, Danny Ings was a great guy to have around the training ground as well. But Oxlade-Chamberlain, every time you see him, he's always joking around, smiling, beaming, laughing. So he can only be good for the future.
I think he's starting to realise his potential. I think when he's at Arsenal, mate, he's probably when Liverpool comes in for you and you're at Arsenal, you're playing left wing back, and that's what was happening. Unfortunately, you must have won the lottery. You really must, because I was always a fan of his at Arsenal, but I always thought he hasn't kicked on since he was 18. I didn't think he'd jump the leaps and bounds what a player needs to. For example, the Coutinho when he first signed at Liverpool was a different Coutinho when he left Liverpool, and that's what you do. You kick on and you go up these levels and levels. That's what Trent's doing. When Trent first came in, he was running up a level, and Robertson went up a level. I never thought he did that. at Arsenal enough for me. So when he came, it was the thought he won the lottery that Liverpool wanted you, and then you're going to be playing in this forward role. I think he's probably the most unique player that we've got from picking the ball up from, say, like a Fabinho or your Virgil and driving with the ball, and is strong enough to keep players off him, to find that killer pass and also get goals. I think he's been a huge loss last season, and I know fans don't maybe not like the saying, but he is like a brand new signing for Liverpool, and especially for Jurgen this season.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like, just cast your mind back to that thunder bastard against City. Like, that's what the kid is all about. Like, he's Stevie Gerrard. He just grabs the game by the scruff of the neck, and you're coming with me.
Yeah, I think he's very much. I always looked at the Kiev game, of course, when he was injured, and we can forget what the goalie done and all that. If you actually look at the game in context of what it was when Salah went off, my God, we didn't half miss him. My God, we missed him because we had no creativity at all. We brought on Emre Can, who wasn't fit, and Lallana, who wasn't fit. And I was always saying to myself, we would have been still banging this game at 1-1 before the goalie did what he did to really drive on here if we had a Chamberlain to come off the bench. And I think that kind of proves when he first signed for us, about 9-10 months before, to where we was at the end of the season, that how much of a big miss he was during that term in that final. I think he's going to be a huge signing for us. So are we going to agree with him? Do you think he's going to get the start? You think?
The start, maybe not. It all depends on how he's reacted after. I mean, how many minutes did he get against Southampton? Did he get
70? I think, was it?
Yeah.
I was on that mark. Yeah.
So he may be fitting round to go. Like, maybe Klopp was just giving him a little less in the tank from taking him off.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been protecting him. So hopefully soon he gets to be unleashed, and this could be the game for him against his old club. So he's going to want to play. So yeah, let's stick him in.
I think it all depends on how much Jurgen wants to respect Arsenal. I think if he wants to show them a lot of respect, he'll go with this Henderson, as Ronaldo and Fabinho midfield, which he likes, he trusts, or Milner. It'll be one of the 3 out of them 4. I think if he's like, we can beat these within 30 minutes kind of thing again, I think he might go with Chamberlain, and then go with Fabinho, and then maybe go with Henderson or Milner. I think that all depends on the manager and what he's thinking. I think he'll start him. I think it'll be a big boost with the contract signing and with his performance last week to start him in the game, of course, especially against his old club. So we'll put him in. Are we going for Fabinho, number 6, of course?
It has to be.
It has to be, yeah. This is the interesting one. To partner him, are we going Henderson, Milner, or Wijnaldum? What are we thinking?
I hate leaving Hendo out of the team, but
So do I, massively. Go on.
But it's got to be Genie, hasn't it?
He's been off the boil, hasn't he? I think since the start of the season, not off the boil, but maybe he hasn't found his form. But he was playing out of his skin last season. He found form, which I never thought he had last season. I don't mean that in any disrespect. I never thought he could get to the level he was playing. Basically, last season, he was probably our best midfielder.
Yeah, easily. Very understated, though,
Yeah, definitely. I think Liverpool fans, when you try and explain to other fans how good he was, they're like, no. And you're like, no, really. He's that good. He was that good last season. I think it's very... I'm a bit like you. I hate leaving Henderson off the team. And I think in a game like this, mate, whether people like Henderson or not, under the lights at Anfield, he's brilliant. He is brilliant under the lights at Anfield. He loves it, mate. And I think he's one of them. I think he wants to back himself as well. I think he's like, I want to show you on this stage again that I'm one of the best players on the field.
Yeah.
I think it's probably the toughest decision. Out of Chamberlain, Wijnaldum, Henderson, and Milner, who starts out the 2. Of course, you can only start the 2 because the front 3 is going to be the front 3.
Yeah.
I think we're going to find a consensus here, aren't we? That we're going to go with Henderson, Chamberlain, and Fabinho. I think that will be our team if we had to pick it. Are you feeling that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a solid midfield, no matter what way you look at it.
And then you're going to be a couple of goals up, and then you can put your Shaqiri on, or your Milner on, or your Wijnaldum on to come in. And then if Keita is fit, which we'll move on to in a second, if Keita is fit, and then there's another option again. So that actually smoothly transitions into the old Naby Keita. I'm going to call him a mystery. The Naby Keita mystery.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts first on Naby Keita as a whole?
Well, we had a whole year to look at Naby at Leipzig before he came to us, and he was electric in the German league. Just a little terrier, sort of not really a player like Kante, but Kante's stature and Kante's heart, but just a different engine. But he's just been plagued with injury, so I don't know. Like, I still think of him as that energetic little bull just wanting to get in amongst it. But I don't know. Hopefully something happens. Some sports scientist gets in there and helps him out, because he's made of glass right now.
I think it's difficult, isn't it? Because I like him. I'm a big fan of his. I like how he walked in and goes, "I'll take number 8."
Yeah.
Mate, you've got to be brave to take that number 8 shirt off the man who wore it before you.
Yeah.
It's a bit like the Emre Can situation with Carragher. I was always like, who's going to be that guy who takes that shirt? I'm a fan of his. I like him. I think he's been unlucky. He's come. It looked like he came back in training. Looked like a lot stronger by the photos you've seen of him in training. Looked like he put some juice on. He put some weight on. Looked like he got stronger and a bit fitter for the Premier League.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we do need to take into consideration. I don't know if you know about the manager, his old international manager.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Who's now being banned from football indefinitely and fined I think about $400,000. I might be wrong.
And rightfully so. He should have been doubled or tripled.
Yes, for playing injured players. And I don't know if you guys and you listeners know, but Papua New Guinea does not have the vast array of talent that Naby Keita has. So if he's playing anyone injured, it's going to be Naby Keita.
Yeah, it's I mean, I get wanting to play for your country no matter what. Apparently he's a very patriotic person. We all are. I know you want to sometimes play through an injury for a big game or for your country, but there's a limit to that. You can't just, I don't know. It's a touchy subject, but you can't just treat these guys like racehorses,
Yeah, I think it's the type of injuries you're getting that are concerning, with like little muscle injuries and things. That is a concerning thing. But I think the next international break is going to be really interesting for Naby, if he goes or not, because I think it's going to get to the point where Liverpool are going to be like, "Hey, you're not going here. I'll call your new manager and I'll call Papua New Guinea's FA basically and say you ain't going." The problem with that is most of probably their tickets that they're selling are on the basis of seeing Naby Keita. That's the issue. It's a bit like the Salah situation for Egypt, and the Mane situation for Senegal. They only want to see them players.
Treat it like a testimonial. Give them 15 minutes.
Exactly. And that's the other part that I believe that Jürgen had with Senegal in the qualifiers of the African Cup of Nations last year. They had 2 games, and he said, if you get qualified in the first game, can you not play him in the second? I think he got the last 10 minutes in the second game. That kind of thing. Yeah. And that's why they've got that great relationship. I think it's that kind of thing also. I think they are selling a lot of tickets, and he is the marquee player. And it's exactly the same here, especially with the American fans that we're catering to right now. If you're going to go and pay $200 to go and see a friendly at Liverpool, you want to see some good names. Yeah. You don't want to go and see Ben Woodburn running the line. No disrespect, but you're paying a lot of money, and you're travelling a long way to go and see these football matches and paying top money, and you want to see that. So I think it's interesting. I do believe in Naby Keita. I still think he can be an excellent player for Liverpool this season. And I think he actually could be our little something special that when we get into the season that teams haven't kind of seen before, because I think he is a really unique player.
Yeah, he's definitely got the drive to play amongst the big boys, so it'd be really exciting to see him sort all this nonsense with his international out and also his fitness. So I think there's a spot in the team for him somewhere that'll be Klopp's problem, but he definitely looks like a player who could make the cut.
Definitely, yeah. Something else about this game I kind of want to touch on before I move on to like our opponents. I think this is an important game, of course, just because it's Arsenal. We've won 2 games. We know it's a big game. It's because we play first and City play second.
Yeah.
And I know City go to Bournemouth and I expect them to beat Bournemouth. Especially at their ground, they'll probably put 5 or 6 past them. Now, but I want Liverpool to be 5 points clear of City now.
Yep.
To have that moment of City going, say it does go 0-0 on half time or 0-0 or 1-1 on the 60th minute. Like, oh fuck. you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's not going to be many moments in a season where City doubt themselves, and not doubt themselves, but have worry about them maybe. And I think Liverpool have to win this match to give them that, like they did last week. They ground it out and went, "Well, you go and win now. You go and win. We've done our job." And I think it's the same again with this, to say when they're waking up on Sunday morning, they go, "Liverpool 5 points clear already, 3 games in." I'm not saying it's a psychological blow, but I want them to think about it in the back of their mind.
Well, they're going to be watching it or somehow checking the score. So it's just a matter of getting the points on the board and making them sweat. Even if it is Bournemouth, they'll still be sweating, even though it's only game week 3 and they're up against Bournemouth. It doesn't matter. You twist the knife any opportunity you can, and now it's perfect. 3rd week in, we're playing Arsenal. Yeah, it's at home, but you got to win those games, and it's a chance to make them sweat in the 3rd week. So excellent.
Yeah, and I always say about Bournemouth, I like Bournemouth. I am a bit advocate for Bournemouth, really, because they do stick to the same way. They do get a few hammerings against top sides, but every season, every year, they'll beat a big side. Every season. I always remember them beating a big side. I think they beat Chelsea last year 4-0. Was that last year? I think it was last year to beat them 4-0.
I think you're right, yeah.
It was last year. When I was kind of, it was last season, season before. I think they beat United there as well. At their ground, I could be completely wrong there. Someone might correct me, but I think they beat United at that ground as well. They always have a big win in them. I'm not saying it's going to be City, but they always have that big performance in them where they can step up. So I think it is massive for Liverpool just to get them points on the board. But I kind of nip this on the board. It's my last question, kind of really on the game. Where do you see Arsenal realistically this season, Jay? They have won 2 games back to back. They haven't average defence. They have a great front line. By the way, Liverpool challenged for the Premier League under Brendan Rodgers with a great front line and an average defence. So let's just get that out there.
Well, let's be honest. Like the people like Arsenal Fan TV. Excuse me. All you have to do is take one look at them and see how passionate Arsenal fans are and where they think they should be. But they've obviously placed a lot of faith in the transfer market this season and come out with some top quality players. But the pressure will be on them to perform now. They're constantly called the 4th best team in England, and that's a fact. But the pressure's on them to perform now, so they'll be looking towards us to attack, which is exactly what we want. So bring them on.
Do you see a top 4 finish for them?
It's got to be. It's got to be top 4, top 3. They've got to get the 3rd spot this year, because if they don't, the Arsenal fans will be on them.
I think Unai Emery's looked and went, I can't find a defender that I like, a centre half, because defenders that I like go for 80 million, right? 90 million. I think he's went, you know what, we'll just try and outscore you.
Yeah.
I can bring Pep in over payments. Let's be honest, they haven't paid the 72 million up front for Pep. They're paying it over 4 years, probably 25 million a season, 20 million a season, whatever it's got to be. And I think he's went, we'll just outscore you. It's a bit like the Brendan situation where Brendan went 3 at the back at Liverpool and went, I know my defence is shit, but I've got Sturridge, Suarez and Sterling.
Yeah.
And we'll just try and outscore you in games. And that's what Liverpool did, and that's why Liverpool challenged for the league title. And that's why we can look at what happened against Chelsea, but if we actually look at the situation, that's why we lost the league, in effect, because the team with the best defence usually wins the league, where you can grind out results. I don't know if Arsenal can do that. I see Arsenal as a top 3 side this season. I think any team that can get 2 players that can score you 20 goals a season very rarely finish out the top side, the top 4.
Absolutely correct.
I always say this about teams you go down. If you have a player that can score you 12 to 15 league goals, it's very rare you go down. It's very rare.
You're in the safe zone.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, I consistently look at it. I look at Brighton. Brighton are bang average. Brighton are a championship side on paper, but they have Glenn Murray. You get you 12 goals.
Yeah, consistently.
And that is the difference.
Yeah.
I look at Vardy. At Leicester, 20 goals every season, where they finish inside the top 10, because that's what these goal scorers do, and that's why the teams who struggle and go down can't score goals. So when you have Aubameyang and Lacazette, and maybe Pep, who can chip in with 10 or 12 this season, I see them as a top 3 side. I do think they'll finish above the United. I think they'll finish above Chelsea. I think they'll finish above Spurs, which will be a massive thing for them just to get above Spurs again, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's where I see them. Do I see them sneaking into the title race? Only if the title's going to be won on about 85 points, 84 points, which I don't think it will be. I think that'll be too short. I can see them being in and around the conversation for March, a bit like Spurs last year, where they were in the conversation in February, March time, and then they drifted off. I can see that with Arsenal. I think the other thing is as well that we've got to think about is the Europa League for them, which can be a bit of a ball ache of a competition to be in. But for them,
absolutely,
after what happened last year in the final, when they got destroyed against Chelsea, I think it could be a competition that they really want to win, because Arsenal, don't forget it, are a team who've never ever won a European trophy. They won the Cup Winners' Cup, but they never won the UEFA Cup or the Champions League. So that's where I see them this season anyway. Just go and have a little chat about general footy, Jay. That's all right, fellas.
Happy days.
Happy days. Do you see any shocks at the Bournemouth City game? Can you see anything happening? Can you see them snaking a draw?
Wouldn't it be nice for Eddie Howe's boys to do us a favour? It'd be nice for my fantasy league too.
Can you see them doing it?
In my sleep.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, but that's about it. I mean, if anything other than a city nightmare happens, it'd be nice though, wouldn't it? We can all dream.
Could you imagine Harry Wilson getting that winner? Fuck.
Happy days.
I'm flying
top corner.
I'm flying back to Liverpool. Third week in.
He'll have a new celebration. It'll be the 6, holding up the 6.
Oh, don't, please, Harry, please. But
hold up the 6, Harry.
I think the only teams who actually get something and beat or get something out of City this year are teams who are hard to beat, and Bournemouth on the day are not hard to beat. They like to come out and play football. They play, whatever you want to call the right way and the wrong way of how you play football. And I don't think there is an answer to that, but I think they do come out. They do like to get the ball on the ground and move the ball and split your centre halves and things like that. I don't see it, to be honest, mate. I think City, they did struggle there last year. City, I think they won 1-0. Mahrez, might be completely wrong again. So that was last year. But they did. But they struggled. I think Mahrez scored in like the 70th minute. They won 1-0. But I don't think Bournemouth had a shot, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Bournemouth never had a shot. And I think City, I'll have to Google it now. And City had about 20 shots. It was kind of one of those games.
Yeah.
So that might look deceiving to a fan who's going to be looking back at the games. But I thought, well, maybe then, they frustrated them last year. They never. I'm hoping so. Of course, we all are. I think it's going to be, as I say, too much for Bournemouth to even get something really out of the game. Is that what you're feeling?
It could just be a little too early in the season for Bournemouth to be playing City and expecting anything. But obviously it'll be a miracle if it does happen. But City right now are full of beans, ready to go. So.
And they're going to be pissed off because of last week.
yeah. So, well, I mean, that's just poetry right there. That's beautiful. You couldn't write that.
I think. What do you? Let me get your score prediction for the Reds actually as well. What are you thinking for the Reds? What score are you thinking?
You can't see a 1-0 here. I really can't. I see a 2 or a 3-1. It's got to be 3-1 here.
I'm gonna go 4-0.
4-0. Happy days.
I think if we score in the first 10, it could be awful for them. I think nightmares happen in football where like memories are stained in you, and you've been through this before. Like fucking up, we've been here before. We've been whacked here before, and I think if we score in the first 10, listen, Arsenal, as I say, they do like to come out and I like to get the ball on the ground. And as we said before, if they want to turn this into a basketball game, there's only one winner. So I'll go 4-0. It might sound optimistic. It might sound that I'm not respecting them. It's not that at all. I just think with Aubameyang and Lacazette are the only two threats, and I back my defence over their strikers. So, but yeah, the Bournemouth City game. What are you thinking then? Give me a score prediction.
Oh,
go on.
Let's roll the dice off a wall here and pick 4-0.
Bournemouth. I'll take that. Harry Wilson hat-trick. Go on then.
Harry Wilson hat-trick, and who's your other man? Who's our striker?
Jordan I'll say City 2-0. I just think it'll be one of them comfortable games for them. You won't really have to get out of second, third gear for them to do it. But as I say, it's all up for the Reds, really. Come on, I want to move on to the game that's happening tomorrow. Aston Villa Everton. I think this is a weird game. This.
Yeah.
I think this could be either 0-0 or 5-5, and I haven't made the decision on what it's going to be. Yes, Everton have had 2 clean sheets this season. Back to back, really good, but they have played Watford and Crystal Palace. No disrespect. Aston Villa, who a lot of people's picks to like break into the top 12 and say they'll still comfortably stay up, have lost their first 2 games. Everton have got to go to Villa Park on a Friday night. I can tell you what, Jamie, mate, I wouldn't want to go to Villa Park on a Friday night if I was Liverpool.
No, not at all. I mean, I wouldn't want to go to Villa Park on many nights, but there you go. But no, honestly, Everton with their clean sheet record is becoming a bit of a joke here. So Villa, just do us a favour and stick a good hat trick in the back of the net there.
Mate, it'll make my life a lot easier. I'm not going to lie. It'll make talking to my mates a lot easier, mate, if you put a few past them. They're starting to get a bit big before the boots, aren't they? You know what I mean? They're starting to think, oh, maybe this is a chance. A chance for what? What's your chance? You'll get to Christmas, Jordan Pickford will throw one in his own net again. And then and then your season falls off a cliff like always. But
start playing basketball on the line.
I know. But yeah, I think it's an interesting game. I think it's a really good game for Villa to kick on, to really kickstart the season. Only because Everton haven't got a lot of goals. Moise Keane hasn't started the game. He came off the bench against Watford last week, looked tidy on the ball. Missed a couple of good chances. But, they play Crystal Palace, who got beat to Sheffield United last week. And they got a deflected goal against Watford at home. So I think it's a really interesting game. But this is my pick for the weekend, this game, mate. Norwich versus Chelsea. Apart from Liverpool Arsenal, of course. But Norwich-Chelsea, I think, is probably the most interesting game this weekend. Norwich
will be.
Play really good, don't they? They're really well, mate. And with Pookie, fella. They've got a guy there who's bagging goals. And we know Chelsea have played well in the games that they played against Leicester, Liverpool, United. They play well. They're good on the ball. But so are Norwich, mate. I find this a really interesting game.
He's just this fella Pookie. He's just got a nose for goal. Like you could blindfold him and he'd still find the back of the net. He really would. He just knows where it is. Like it's that famous old saying: the goalposts never move. His head is down every time he hits the ball. He knows where the net is. He never looks at the net. He's an old-fashioned striker, and he's going to do well this season. He's already joint top goal scorer, isn't he?
He is. I think he's got forward Sterling, I believe. I think he's got the same amount of goals. I I'm a fan of his. I like him because I think he's come from Celtic. I think he was out there a couple of years ago, and he was at like Bromby and things like that. He's been around the block. He's 29 now. And
Schalke.
Like Schalke, yeah. And it looks like
he's played with Matip and Van Dijk.
Wow.
That's why.
I've just pulled up his record for Norwich. It looked like he really started to find form at Bromby. He was there for 4 years. He played 130 times, scored 55, which is a good record. And then he's gone to Norwich, mate. He's played 45 and scored 33. There's not many better records in the league than that, is there?
That's ridiculous.
I really like him. I'm, of course, 29. I don't ever see him at Liverpool because he's way too old for us. But I can definitely see, like a Leicester going for him in January if they're struggling in the league and say, well, this guy just keeps bagging goals kind of thing. But yeah, not as Chelsea, mate. Are you going to be getting up early to watch that one? That is the early kickoff on a Saturday.
I think 4:30
a.m. for me.
I think I might have to wait for the highlights on that one.
I'm going to go for the shocking in that game. I'm going to go for the Norwich win. I think they can get round behind them at home at Carrow Road. I think they can get right behind them and kind of give Chelsea a stare. What are you thinking?
I'd love to see it. I dare say Pukki will get his goal. So it's just a matter of how many he can score. He just looks to be a striker that's not just in form. He just has a terrible habit of scoring a goal a game at least. So it's a matter of how the rest of Norwich can perform, because he's guaranteed a goal no matter who he's playing against. It makes you think about the goal we conceded to him. Yeah, it was the first day of the season, but that's puts a little icing on the cake that we lost our clean sheet there on that day to him, because he's unbelievable right now.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Before we go, I'm going to start something new tonight, guys. Something that was posed to me, which I'm going to pose to Jamie, which I'm going to do probably at the start of at the end of the podcast, if the other listeners are okay, and the other actually contributors are okay, because I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I got a text through. Jay, what are you thinking of this? You go down each squad in the Premier League, and you look and you pick one player that would come to Liverpool and improve us or get on our bench. Okay? So you got to look at the teams so, for example, our neighbours. We'll go from the top of the league to the bottom. Of course, Liverpool are top. We like to keep saying that Liverpool are top of the league. Arsenal. So you got to pick a player out at Arsenal where if they would play for or start for Liverpool or get on the bench for Liverpool.
Can I take Ox again?
Unfortunately not. No. Unfortunately not. I think for Arsenal, I think it's a difficult one, but I think there's only actually probably two players you're going to pick, which are probably going to be the strikers. Is that what you're feeling as well?
Yeah, I mean, the link's there with Aubameyang, and I know Klopp doesn't usually like to rehash old chemistries, but I think he'd be great. He'd be a completely different thing to Bobby, and if I don't know, it just would be unbelievable to see them two on the same pitch together.
Yeah, I'm probably going to agree, and I don't know if he'd start for Liverpool, but he'd definitely get on the bench. Definitely get on the bench. I don't know if he'd start. I'd love to know your guys' suggestions. If you guys agree with us, by the way, on any of these, let us know if you do disagree.
To be fair, that's a pretty staple, run-of-the-mill answer we've given. So, that's probably the most probable answer right there.
Correct. It definitely gets more difficult. Third in the League of City. If it stays like that, I'll be very happy. But third in the League of City. What player would you take from their squad that can improve Liverpool's squad or team?
I mean, there's only one player for me that even gets near the Liverpool team, and that's De Bruyne.
You see, he's the only. He's my. I don't want to say second choice because that sounds really harsh. I'd go Laporte.
Really?
To partner Van Dijk. because I think Laporte would start. De Bruyne would start. But I think Laporte and Van Dijk, I don't think there's many better, you know. I really don't. I think Laporte is probably the second best centre-half in the league, and maybe in the world. Maybe behind Varane. And Van Dijk, of course. But I agree with you with De Bruyne. I do. And it's one that keeps going through my mind. But I just want to put my case forward for Laporte. Laporte's better than Joe Gomez. He's better than Mata. I know De Bruyne is better than the rest of our midfield, correct? Could you imagine Laporte and Van Dijk? Liverpool scoring enough goals. Liverpool score a lot of goals anyway. Of course, it's always great to score more goals. I'm all for it. But Laporte and Van Dijk is a centre-half partnership I could see for the next 10 years. I'll just put my case forward. I don't think there's a wrong answer between De Bruyne, Laporte, and maybe Sterling. I don't think there's a wrong answer. But I don't think Sterling would start for Liverpool. But I know De Bruyne or Laporte probably would.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, either way you look at it, like you said, there's no wrong answers. There's going to be people out there who would have chose Pepe for Arsenal and are probably going to choose Aguero for City. All those cases can be made. Yeah. But for me, I think De Bruyne is just... he had a wee bit of an injury problem. I mean, a lot of these young players are right now. We're seeing, but he just looks the real deal. Like he really does. He's just come on each year, and you know, Chelsea must be kicking themselves.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I couldn't agree more. Be interesting to see what you guys are thinking about that one as well. As I say, I don't think there's a wrong answer, but I do rate Laporte extremely highly, and I think him partner Van Dijk is kind of what stuff dreams are made of, especially Rafa Benitez dreams. The most expensive manager in the world. I think he'd love that. But we'll move on to the other club from the other side of Manchester, the red side, United. I think this is also very tough. Very tough. What are you feeling? One player can improve the team, or would make the bench / squad and that kind of thing.
So I'm going to entertain the thought here.
Go on, hit me with it.
That's a really tough question that's laced with hatred and...
Yes, definitely.
So, well, let's go through their squad. There's no way De Gea is getting on the pitch anymore.
No.
Their defence has no chance.
Maguire's got half a chance, but not a lot.
Yeah,
not a lot.
Yeah. If he somehow gets 3 goals in his next 3 games and they're all big slab headers, then that's a possibility. But midfield, I wouldn't entertain Pogba for a second. Maybe 6 or 7 years ago, Mata.
Yeah.
I don't know. Rashford seems to be a pretty good player. It would just detract from young Brewster for me, so I don't really know. I'd skip them completely.
Skip them. I think this is difficult. You wouldn't entertain Pogba?
Nah, no.
Forget
not
the
for me.
option 6 for a second, right? Forget that for a second, right? I'm not saying that. My answer would be someone different.
Oh yeah, no, we're completely hypothetical, but he's not for me.
Not for you. Fair enough. My one would be Tony Martial.
I completely forgot about him.
That would be my one, I think. When he's motivated, he's unbelievable. He really is. But
I enjoyed the way he kind of pushed past. Was it Luke Shaw at the weekend?
Yeah.
That reminded me of Owen for England.
Yeah.
Against Argentina.
Yeah. He just pushed past them. Yeah.
Where he just pushes past Scholes. He's like, no, I'm 18. I'm putting this in the back of the
net. He will be my pick. I think he will be my choice. The reason I'd say he's my choice, I wouldn't think he'd start, but of course I think he'll make the bench for Liverpool as the option. He's left-footed. He's brilliant. He's quick, and I think he'd be the perfect balance for our front three, where you can pull one out and put him in, and it doesn't look like you fell off a cliff. Where at the moment, sometimes with Divock, it looks like you can fall off a cliff a little bit. But I think with his quality, mate, and his ability, and he's still so young. I think he's like 24 now. He's still a young player, mate. But I think Tony Martial would be mine. But I thought about Pogba for a while, you know. I know you might not like that, mate, but I thought about it for a while, you know. I'm thinking, well, could Jürgen get his arm around him and keep his head down, kind of thing. A bit like when people said, oh, Shaqiri was a bit of a bad egg and things around the dressing room, and he's come in, he's been brilliant. That's what I was thinking. But you're not going to entertain the Pogba, are we?
No, I'm not when you've got Pogba on the one hand and you've got Fabinho on the other.
Would you pay Pogba in like a number 8 role, further forward? You like that, don't you?
Yeah, I would definitely probably do that.
Tough,
yeah, he's a talent. He's a handful, but he's an incredible talent. I think the sooner he gets away from all this Man United nonsense, let's be honest, he's probably going to go back to Juve. If I was Juve, I'd want him back. But I don't know. I think aside from his mental capabilities, you know, he's definitely highly rated in his own mind. But I don't know. He still has a lot to prove. Yeah, I know he's a World Cup winner, but for me, he didn't really shine in the World Cup.
He played well, but I don't think I think he was like, you know, he's a 6 and 7 out of 10. But I never seen where he put the 9 in. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, It was good. It was solid. But I think France were mostly solid most games anyway.
Put it this way, he's no Zidane. You know what I mean?
No, definitely not. I think this is the interesting one, which people might be surprised about. 5th in the league at the moment is currently Brighton and Hove Albion. Now, I'm not sure how your knowledge of Brighton goes, but I like a couple. You know, forget Glenn Murray, he's about 49 now. So Glenn Murray's not an option. I like Trossard, who scored last week, and I like the 2 centre halves. I like Dunk and Duffy. I'm quite a fan of Lewis Dunk. I don't know if he's better than what we've got though. And the other one that came to me was Pascal Gross, who I quite like as an option. But again, I don't think any of their players will probably make our bench.
No, not a chance. Out of pure solidarity for Ireland, I'd go for
Shane Duffy.
Well, yeah, Shane Duffy did. As much as I'd like Glenn Murray for the Ricky Lambert effect, I'm sticking with my national side here. I'm going Shane Duffy.
And he still had the best Everton song of all time. We're up all night for Shane Duffy.
Yes.
The greatest Everton song of all time. But yeah, you stick with your Duffy, mate. I think the Glenn Murray, he can't. No, I like Glenn, but no, not at his age anyway. But that's just something a bit different anyway. That we, you know, a guy texted me this week, which I thought was really interesting. I'm going to go through the other clubs on our next podcast and things like that. And I'm going to leave you guys and listeners with one question. Jamie can have a little think about this as well. If he wants to give us an answer now, we can. It's a bit of a would you rather question for Liverpool this season. Would you rather Liverpool won the Champions League, the FA Cup and the League Cup, or the Premier League?
Okay, well.
You can have a little think if you need to. I know it's a tough question. It was a little thing that was going around on Twitter. A question that I seen, I was like, I'm going to remember that one. So that's the question, guys. Would you rather Liverpool win the Champions League, the FA Cup and the League Cup, or just the Premier League? So let us know your thoughts in the subscribers on the subscribers page. Go on to Facebook, add us in our page, so you can have a discussion with us. Liverpool FC America. Come in, join the group, have a discussion with other like-minded Liverpool fans, all from around America. Talking about different things, all about the club, everything about it, really. To be honest, that's kind of my go-to for Liverpool news at the moment because they're so on the ball, it's unbelievable. Jamie, any other questions, mate?
No, I'm happy with the cliffhanger. I could answer the question. I loved it. I could answer the question on instinct, but I won't.
I think because I know what your instinct is. Because
my answer probably won't change, but either way you look at it, Romantically, number 7 would be awesome.
Right? That's, you know what, mate? That's my answer. It is, and whether fans want that or not, I want the league title more than anyone. That's just my opinion. I want the league title more than anyone. But to be back-to-back European champions when Real Madrid is the only team to do it in the last 30 years is a ridiculous thing for these players. And of course, and then you have your couple of days out at Wembley, winning.
A cup run in the biggest competition in the world is unbelievable, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm going to hold on to my answer now that you've shown your hand.
I've shown my hand. I got this question like 3 days ago, and trust me, it took me about now to come up with the answer.
I could give you an answer now, and in 3 days' time, it could be completely different.
Yeah, but if Bournemouth will beat City, and you come on and go, no, we want the league.
So I think it's a great question, because realistically, we're aiming for a big piece of silverware, no matter which way you look at it. Whether it's the league or big ears or all and above, you know. So I think it's a nice way to leave it.
Awesome. Well, guys, get your answers in. See what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the page, all that jazz. Any questions you want to ask any of the subscribers, always reach out on the American Scouser page or in the Liverpool FC America Facebook group. The group's starting to gather a lot of steam. A lot of people starting to join. Come along, get involved, like-minded discussion with other Reds, okay? So anyway, Jay, have a good night, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get the 3 points on Saturday, mate.
Happy days, mate. I'll be dreaming of silverware, no doubt.
I know, fella, you'll be still sitting there thinking of that question. Have a good one, mate.
All right, mate. Up the Reds.
Thanks. Bye-bye.